All right, chat, what'd you think?
Hey, what do you guys think? First off, not a better fight scene than the Phantom Menace. I know they were trying to tout this. I feel like every Star Wars project has something like that where they, like, remember with The Last Jedi, was like, this is going to be a bigger reveal than I am your father. Like, oh, wow, it's going to be nothing. No, literally, that was it. That was, Kylo Ren said that Rey is nothing, a nobody. And then she's a Palpatine, and then she's a this and that, or she was supposed to be a Kenobi, whatever. And then with this one, they said that there's going to be a fight scene that's going to be as good as or better than the Phantom Menace when Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon Jinn fight Darth Maul. I didn't see that. Maybe I was watching a different show. I'm not too sure. There were so many moments, just talking about the fight scene alone, there were so many moments, and talking with Nick Gillard, being his friend at this point, hanging out with him, literally heading to New York tomorrow to go hang out with him. He has instructed me and told me how fight scenes actually, today are shot versus how he shoots them and choreographs them. You can't have a guy, he's going up against multiple opponents, and this is something that we're working on for Vader Episode 3. You can't have a guy, one guy, who's going up against multiple opponents and have any sort of opening whatsoever. It takes you out of the immersion of it. It's not a real fight. In a real fight, that person would be dead because there's like 10 guys around. They're not just waiting around twirling their lightsaber, waiting for their shot. They're all going in, right? They're going to go for the legs, they're going for the head or whatever. And that's why it worked so well with Darth Maul, because he had two, and there's not a single moment where there's an opening. And if there is any opening, it's after Maul has hit someone and knocked them out a little bit, where they have to like take a few seconds to regain. Here there were like probably 20 openings where Smilo Ren could have just been capped like that. And unfortunately, the choreographer's fault. That completely retracts their claim that this is better than Phantom Menace. It's a stupid claim. Don't make a claim like this. Say, we're going to make a cool fight scene. All right, fine, we can get behind it. Smilo Ren, I think we all kind of predicted that he would be the potions master. He would be Snape. I guess Soul has some darkness to himself. Everyone has a past. Everyone has things that they're not proud of. He's coming to terms with that. I think the main number one thing is that, over the last week, last 2 weeks, I would say even the last several weeks since the show's inception, so many supporters of the show who are intolerant of other people's opinions that may oppose theirs, that simply just may not like the show, right? But they proceed to send death threats. They proceed to say you're this and an ist and a phobe and this and that, simply because you have differing opinions on a show. Their main argument has been, it's a weak argument. This is not a Sith. It doesn't detract from what Ki-Adi-Mundi said. First of all, regardless if it's a Sith or not, this is a red lightsaber user killing Jedi. Call it whatever you want to call it. Call it the Michelin Man. Call it Barney the dinosaur. It's still doing exactly what a Sith would do. Not only that, it has an acolyte. It has a literal dark apprentice. So there's that. The guy literally just calls himself to you, I'm a Sith. Enjoy the lore-breaking show. Those Jedi are going to go back. Well, Soul is going to go back, and he's going to inform the council that a Sith has returned. Unless somehow miraculously he dies as well, which I don't see happening. So there you go. You have a show that now has broken the lore. 1,000 years of peace for the Jedi, as Ki-Adi-Mundi has said. You now not only have Sith that have died, you now not only have Ki-Adi-Mundi that is corroborated with this story, you now have an actual red lightsaber Jedi killer who notifies himself as a Sith to a Jedi Master who will now go back and inform someone that the Sith have returned. Low fucking clap. Great job. Wow. The floating thing? Why couldn't Anakin just float? Underestimate my power. Don't try it. What are you doing, Anakin? I'm floating, Master. There was an Acolyte, a Sith. About 80 years ago, I learned it from the archives. Actually, Ki-Adi-Mundi told me about it. Oh, I didn't know. So the end for you, my master. Well, there you go. We do a poll, which is my rating out of 10. Like a 3? 4? Well, at least, there's 8% of people that say it's a 9 to 10 out of 10. So I'm glad 9% of people liked it. And then 7 to 8 is 15%. 5 to 6 out of 10, give it a 24. It's 24% of them. And then 4 and below is 52%. We call those the ists and phobes category. So, we don't count their vote. Those are bots. I honestly like the lightsaber duel, but to make a very bold claim that it'll be better than Maul versus Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon is an overstatement. Yeah, the lightest way to put it, I suppose. The fight was fun, but it all lacks substance. Probably my favorite episode, but it's still like a 5 at best. Story and dialogue is just god-awful. Oh, God. The dialogue is just non-existent, my friend. And people want to rip on George for the prequels. The imposter is going to kill the Jedi without a weapon and be reaccepted as an acolyte. Tell me I'm wrong. Choreography was not as good as Menace. Better than the sequels. Sequels were real bad. But, I've seen fan films that have better choreography. Look at the Darth Maul movie. Look at anything from Mike Starwalker. Yo, Theory, big fan, watching you since 2019. Popped in the stream and I was unsubbed. Are they unsubbing people? Wouldn't be surprised. Love you, Theory. You know, I've never talked about this. I was at 3,340,000 subscribers. I started to notice that it was like unsubs by the day, and I contacted YouTube and they were like, oh, we're just purging accounts, but it was like it went to like 40,000-50,000 subs lost. In the last week, we've gained another, I'd say, 20 to 30,000 subscribers, and so many of them are saying the exact same thing you're saying, meaning like, I don't know why I was unsubscribed. I don't understand. I don't know. I don't want to lead any conspiracy theories, but I don't know. I don't know. Maybe people just didn't like me. So she's evil again. What happened to turning herself in? Yo, what the hell? Oh man, it's like, it's crazy. I forget, you know, I forget because the story is so uncompelling that I forget. I'm like, wait, hold on now. She's evil again, right? It was just a minute ago. She's wishy-washy. Yeah, you know, he can push like 6 Jedi like this, but he can't get away from the birds, from the moth creatures, with a red lightsaber, mind you. And they're kids. It's like, I love you. We're one end of the stars, all this bullshit. And then, oh, you're going to leave? I will kill you. Sets fire to the entire place. Then spends 17, 16 years being an acolyte, training from a Sith. Literally, guy says he's a Sith. Then kills Jedi Masters, and then she all of a sudden changes her mind. Oh, you know what? My sister's alive. My allegiance is to her. When she sees her sister is in trouble several times, turns her back and runs the other freaking way. Doesn't protect, doesn't nothing, doesn't stand in the way, runs away. When Jackie actually comes in and tries to save Osha. Wild. And then they get together. She's like, don't turn against me again. They've brainwashed you. No, you've killed Jedi, blah, blah, blah. You need to be turned in for your crimes. She's like, oh, you know what? No, I'm evil again. Screw this. And then goes along with the Jedi, starts killing them. It's like, what the who wrote this shit? Who wrote this? Why? Why is she constantly wavering in and out? Like, is she, like, being mind-controlled? Is she crazy? Or is this just garbage writing? 180 million bucks. When this, literally, episode 4 and 5 didn't even cost this much. Only possibility for the lightsabers turning off is that his helmet, or whatever the hell he's hitting, is cortosis. More than time enough to kill you. That's what a cortosis blade is. She used it against Vader. It wasn't any help against Vader. He just freaking grabbed her hand, snapped her little neck like a twig.
Vader's dueling skills.
Oh, sorry, I was on mute the whole
time. His lightsaber aside and grabbed hold of the soon-to-be-dead Jedi, snapping her neck and taking her blade, as he said,
"Since I require a weapon, I shall take yours."
Vader's dueling skills far outmatched the Jedi.
Maybe May is Osha and Osha is May this entire time. I don't know, dude. All I'm happy about is that literally nobody has anything to say anymore. It's literally a Sith. Ah! Revenge of the Sith cost $113 million. Keep that in mind. $113 million. And the Acolyte cost $180 million. We had Yoda jumping around. We had a lot of CGI. We had Mustafar. Budget cuts. We couldn't afford the Wookiee to fight. And we also couldn't afford Yoda. Oh, and Attack of the Clones cost $115 million. 5-second lightsaber haircut. Good to know the Jedi can go into hiding, posing as barbers after Order 66. Where was Soul at the beginning of the fight? LeMayo, dude was just left all his homies get bodied before he wanted to jump in. Yeah, pretty crazy, huh? Under no circumstance can Disney do KOTOR. Well, apparently Leslie Headland wants to do KOTOR. Theory, I commend you for saying so positive about Star Wars over these years. I gave up after The Last Jedi. I haven't watched any Star Wars shows since Mando Season 2, and I have been a fan since the early 90s. Stay strong, bro. Well, you know what? I wouldn't even call it positivity, dude. I would just say that I was being hopeful that they had a plan. I'm like, oh, there's no way that they like would leave this open-ended, or they wouldn't have a plan of like what is going on. So a lot of people mistake me being hopeful with me being positive with me being hopeful that they actually know what they're doing. But when Soul asks the Sith what he is, he should have definitely not said Sith. Dude, when I heard that, I was just like, there's no way he just said that. There is no way that they, like, you know those moments where you're just like, oh, he actually said that. When does it get to the point where it's just enough? Where you just realize that this show was not well thought out. And if it was thought out by someone who doesn't understand the lore and just wants to lick Star Wars and put it back on the shelf with their stamp. Just had someone comment on my X post and say, just because he says he's a Sith doesn't mean he is one. Oh, wow. Yeah, it's a good one. These grifter comments are hilarious because you're getting people that don't know anything about how to make money on YouTube, and they're talking about how to make money on YouTube. Well, you're just grifting to make money. So and I'll tell you my analytics, my best ever on the channel was Mandalorian Season 2 with over 60 million views in one frickin' month. And that was from me loving the show. When I love the show, dude, I make breakdowns. I talk about the lore. I talk about theories. I have fun with it. I talk about other characters and other Legends lore that ties in. I have a great time with it. The fandom is alive. We're happy. We're invested. That's when any Star Wars fan, makes the most money ever. When Star Wars is good. When people are enjoying it. Star Wars is shit. You don't make as much money. And also, as a fan, it's heart-wrenching. It's crushing. I miss when you would theorize about the next episodes or where the shows could go. Show's a 7 out of 10 for me. Can't wait for Vader 2. I'm glad you like the show, man. But you know what? It ain't a 7 out of 10 for me. It shits on the lore of Star Wars, and I'm going to talk about it. If I'm eating something and it tastes like shit and it's gone rancid, am I not allowed to say that this is rancid? I think this is bad. Well, Wikipedia says he's a Sith now. Does it? So beautifully, I have to say, affiliations right there. Sith. Your beloved Wikipedia says Sith. I am just going to let the music swell. You know why it's funny? It's funny because these smug directors and writers think that they know this shit better than George, and their stupid, offhand, idiotic, arrogant comments about George Lucas and the misogyny and patriarchy that is Star Wars and all of this bullshit is just coming right back in their face when they make such dribble. They don't even do the research to know the lore of what they're writing, what they're getting $180 million to write. Come on, theory that is definitely giving basic hater. This was the best lightsaber choreography since the prequels. Why is that giving hater, man? Just because you don't like my view or opinion doesn't mean I'm a hater. It just means that I didn't like it. It's so strange, man. You have to normalize people's opinions. Hey, people can have opinions. I didn't think the choreography was that great, and if you think it was amazing and the next best thing since sliced bread, cool, I'm happy for you. But my standards are incredibly high. I've watched the prequel trilogy, I don't know how many times. These are supposed to be the peak era of the Jedi, and their fighting is not there. The fight is actually decent until you realize Smilo can take out 7 Jedi simultaneously, but gets carried away by 5 beetles. No problem. I was unsubscribed. Is Disney striking back at you? Yeah, honestly, that's what I said a long time ago. I'm like, man, I'm losing subs like left, right, and center. This is so weird, because I was getting really close to Disney's, to the actual Star Wars account subscriber number. Freaking rapidly, the gap was closing very quick. And then all of a sudden, just every video I'd upload, just losing thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands. Now it's coming back up, and it's for like probably a year and a half. And that had never happened before. It was, you know, it's always going up. Who knows? Not here to make any conspiracies, but it is weird. Personally, I don't even think Kamir is like a real Sith. I think he's probably like some wannabe Sith cultist. But at the end of the day, he's still a red lightsaber wielding dude with force powers who's killing a Jedi and has an Acolyte apprentice. Daphne Keen's character was actually pretty good with the 2 sabers, and her death was pretty cool. Yeah, it wasn't bad. What do you think would be an appropriate action for Master Soul to take now that he is back at the ship? Immediately notifying the High Council, right? George should have probably done that and notified them while he was walking to the ship. What if this Ki-Adi-Mundi is prequels Ki-Adi's dad? Oh shit. Then his dad's a freaking traitor too. Hoping everyone who's seen Kamir is offed before reporting him. The Plagueis takes him out in the last episode as he'd be hunting rivals in this time. Yeah, that would be cool. That's really like the only way that this is possible. But once again, the Jedi were not supposed to see any red lightsaber, any Sith whatsoever. Everyone's talking about Kamir, but no one said a word about Anakin blowing up the Death Star and killing All right. Love you guys. TheorySabers.com. Go check it out. We'll see you in the vid.